Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel English Rise. This channel was created to help you improve your English listening and speaking skills through calm, deep, and meaningful storytelling. If this type of content helps you practice English while reflecting on life, consider subscribing to the channel. Now take a moment, slow down your thoughts, and let's begin. Comfort is not evil, it is not wrong, it is not something to hate. But comfort becomes dangerous when it becomes a lifestyle. Today's story is about why comfort, when left unchecked, slowly becomes the enemy of growth. Not in loud or dramatic ways, but quietly, patiently, and invisibly. Part 1. Why comfort feels safe, but is not. Comfort feels safe because it removes friction. No pressure, no fear, no uncertainty. When you are comfortable, nothing is asking anything from you. No effort, no risk, no decision. The mind loves this state, but safety is not the same as growth. A life without friction may feel peaceful at first, but over time, it creates stagnation. And stagnation is not neutral. It slowly drains energy, curiosity, and ambition. Part 2. How comfort slowly changes your identity. Comfort does not destroy dreams overnight. It changes identity first. You stop seeing yourself as someone who grows. You start seeing yourself as someone who maintains. You don't ask, how can I improve? You ask, how can I stay comfortable? This shift is subtle, almost invisible, but over time it shapes your decisions. You avoid challenges, you delay difficult conversations, you postpone learning new skills, and slowly, your world becomes smaller. Part 3. The difference between rest and comfort. Rest is necessary. Comfort addiction is dangerous. Rest restores energy. Comfort avoids effort. Rest prepares you to return stronger. Comfort keeps you where you are. In a comfort-driven life, rest never ends. There is always a reason to wait, always a reason to postpone, and growth never begins. Part 4. Why growth always feels uncomfortable. Growth requires change. Change creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates discomfort. This is unavoidable. Every new skill feels awkward at first. Every new identity feels unstable. Every meaningful transformation challenges who you were before. Discomfort is not a sign you are failing. It is a sign you are expanding. But a comfort-based mindset interprets discomfort as danger. And so, it retreats. Part 5. How a comfortable life makes the mind weak. When the mind rarely faces challenge, it loses resilience. Small problems feel overwhelming. Minor stress feels unbearable. Criticism feels personal. This is not because life became harder. It is because tolerance became lower. Mental strength is built through resistance. Without resistance, the mind becomes fragile. Comfort removes that resistance. Part 6. Why modern life makes comfort too easy. Comfort today is instant, entertainment on demand, food without effort, distraction without limits. You don't have to wait. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to sit with boredom. But boredom is where reflection begins. Struggle is where strength forms. Waiting is where patience grows. When comfort is constant, these muscles disappear. Part 7. How comfort affects English learning. Comfort plays a huge role in language learning. Listening feels safe. Speaking feels uncomfortable. So many people choose comfort. They watch videos. They understand everything, but they don't speak. Why? Because speaking exposes you. It reveals mistakes. It creates vulnerability. Comfort says, wait until you are ready. Growth says, start before you feel ready. And fluency lives on the side of discomfort. Part 8. Why staying comfortable feels responsible. Comfort often disguises itself as responsibility. I'm waiting for the right time. I need to be more prepared. I don't want to rush. These sound reasonable. But preparation without action becomes avoidance. And avoidance, repeated daily, becomes identity. Part 9. The emotional cost of a comfortable life. A comfortable life often looks good from the outside. But inside, something feels missing. A quiet frustration, a sense of wasted potential, a feeling of being capable of more. This is not greed, it is growth calling you forward. Ignoring it creates numbness. Listening to it creates discomfort. But discomfort is honest. Part 10. Why discomfort is the language of growth. Discomfort is not random. It is not punishment. It is communication. Every time you feel uncomfortable, something inside you is being stretched beyond its current limits. Think about it. When you lift a weight that challenges you, your muscles burn. That burning is not damage. It is adaptation in progress. The same applies to the mind. Discomfort appears when your current identity is no longer enough to handle the situation you are facing. It signals expansion. But a comfort-based life teaches the mind to interpret discomfort as a threat instead of a message. So the instinct becomes escape, distract, delay. Growth, however, asks the opposite. It asks you to stay. Part 11. How comfort trains you to avoid your potential. Potential is demanding. It requires effort before results. It requires belief before proof. It requires discomfort before confidence. Comfort offers something much easier: relief. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, your brain learns a lesson. Avoid effort. Seek relief. Over time, this becomes automatic. You don't consciously decide to avoid growth anymore. Your nervous system does it for you. This is why many people feel stuck without knowing why. They are not lazy. They are trained. Trained to choose what feels good now over what builds strength later. Part 12. The invisible prison of comfort. Comfort does not feel like a prison. That's what makes it dangerous. There are no walls, no locks, no guards, only habits. Habits that feel harmless. Staying silent instead of speaking. Choosing entertainment instead of effort. Avoiding situations where you might fail. But slowly, these habits define the borders of your life. You stop going where growth happens. You stop becoming who you could be. And the prison feels comfortable. Until one day it feels empty. Part 13. Why confidence never comes from comfort. Confidence is not built through thinking. It is built through evidence. And evidence only comes from action. You don't become confident by waiting until you feel ready. You become confident by surviving moments when you were not ready. Comfort delays those moments. It whispers, not today, later, someday. But confidence is created only in the present. Every avoided challenge is a missed opportunity to prove something to yourself. Part 14. How comfort distorts your perception of risk. Comfort makes risk feel bigger than it is. Speaking English feels risky, but the real risk is never speaking. Trying something new feels risky, but the real risk is staying the same. Comfort magnifies fear and minimizes regret. You fear embarrassment more than stagnation. You fear failure more than wasted years. But over time, the cost becomes clear. Regret is heavier than fear. And comfort is often the path to regret. Part 15. The role of discipline in escaping comfort. Discipline is not punishment. It is structure. It removes decision fatigue. It reduces negotiation with the mind. Comfort asks, do I feel like it? Discipline asks, did I decide to do this? This is a critical difference. Growth does not require extreme motivation. It requires consistency in moments when motivation is absent. Discipline creates a bridge between intention and identity. Part 16. How small discomfort builds great strength. Growth does not require radical change overnight. It requires controlled discomfort. Practiced daily. Speaking one sentence out loud. Sitting with boredom instead of distraction. Doing the hard thing first. Small discomfort accumulates, and over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes normal. Then growth moves to the next level. Comfort keeps life static. Discomfort moves the baseline forward. Part 17. Why comfort makes time feel fast. Have you noticed how years seem to disappear? That happens when days look the same. Comfort creates repetition without progression. Growth, on the other hand, creates markers. First attempt, first failure, first improvement. These moments slow time psychologically. A life of growth feels longer, richer, and more meaningful. Comfort shortens the experience of life. Part 18. How to start leaving comfort without burning out. Leaving comfort does not mean living in pain. It means choosing intentional discomfort. Not chaos, not suffering, not extremes. Just conscious challenge. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? That question alone reveals your next step. Growth begins with awareness. Part 19. Comfort does not just shape habits. It shapes identity. Comfort is not only about what you do. It's about who you slowly believe you are. At first, comfort looks like a simple preference. I prefer not to speak. I prefer to wait. I prefer what feels easy. But repetition transforms preference into identity. After avoiding challenges long enough, the mind rewrites the story. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not confident. I'm not disciplined. I'm not meant for more. This is how comfort becomes dangerous. It doesn't just limit actions, it limits self-image. And once identity is shaped, behavior follows automatically. You stop trying not because you can't, but because you no longer see yourself as someone who does. Growth threatens this identity. That's why discomfort feels personal. It feels like an attack, not on your routine, but on your sense of self. Part 20. Why the mind defends comfort so aggressively. Your brain's primary job is not growth. It is survival. And survival prefers predictability over possibility. Comfort is predictable. Growth is uncertain. So, when you attempt to step outside comfort, your mind responds with resistance, overthinking, self-doubt, fear narratives, rational excuses, not because the action is dangerous, but because uncertainty feels unsafe. This is why the inner resistance feels so convincing. The mind does not say, I want to keep you small. It says, I'm protecting you. Understanding this changes everything. You stop seeing fear as truth. You start seeing it as a reflex, and reflexes can be retrained. Part 21. How comfort creates a false sense of peace. Comfort feels calm, but it is not peace. It is sedation. True peace comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, when effort matches intention, comfort avoids conflict, but peace resolves it. That unresolved tension doesn't disappear. It accumulates. That's why people living in comfort often feel restless, irritable, empty, quietly dissatisfied. Not because life is hard, but because something inside knows it's underused. Comfort keeps the surface calm while the depth grows turbulent. Growth, paradoxically, creates calm after discomfort. Part 22. Why comfort makes you feel busy but unfulfilled. Comfort is efficient at filling time. Scrolling, watching, consuming. You feel occupied but not accomplished. Busyness replaces purpose. Days become full, but empty. This creates a dangerous illusion. I'm doing something. But movement is not progress. Progress requires friction, effort, resistance. Comfort removes friction, and with it, meaning. Part 23. The subtle trade comfort offers you. Comfort makes a quiet deal. I will protect you from discomfort today, in exchange for your future strength. It never states the cost up front. You only realize later, when confidence is low, when skills are underdeveloped, when opportunities feel intimidating instead of exciting. The price of comfort is paid in regret, not pain, and regret is heavier. Part 24. Why growth always feels lonely at first. Comfort is social. Most people live inside it. When you choose discomfort, discipline, effort, growth, you naturally step outside the norm. This creates isolation, not because others reject you, but because your path diverges. And loneliness is often mistaken for a sign you're wrong. In reality, it's often a sign you're early. Growth isolates before it elevates. Part 25. The moment you realize comfort has been costing you your life. There is usually a moment, a quiet one, not dramatic, not public, a moment when you realize, this is not the life I imagined. I've been avoiding something important. I've been comfortable and shrinking. That realization hurts, but it is also powerful, because awareness is the first crack in the prison. Part 26. How to reframe discomfort as a signal, not a warning. Discomfort does not mean stop. It often means pay attention. Ask, what is this discomfort asking of me? What skill is missing? What belief is being challenged? Discomfort is directional. It points toward growth, not danger. Once you learn to interpret it correctly, fear loses authority. Part 27. The daily practice of leaving comfort. Growth is not one decision. It is a daily vote. Every day you choose. Speak or stay silent. Act or delay. Engage or escape. These decisions feel small, but identity is built from small repetitions. Comfort loses power when it is challenged consistently. Not violently, not dramatically, just honestly. Part 28. The true enemy is not pain. It is avoidance. Most people believe they are afraid of pain. They are not. They are afraid of facing themselves. Pain is loud, but temporary. Avoidance is quiet and permanent. When you avoid discomfort, you avoid feedback. When you avoid feedback, you avoid growth. When you avoid growth, you slowly disconnect from your own potential. This is how comfort quietly steals your future. Not through suffering, but through numbness. A life without discomfort becomes a life without depth. Part 29. How comfort erodes self-respect over time. Self-respect is built through action, not through thinking, not through wishing. Every time you do the hard thing you said you would do, self-trust grows. Every time you avoid it, self-trust weakens. Comfort teaches you to break promises to yourself, daily, and broken promises accumulate. This is why people living in comfort often feel insecure without knowing why. They are not weak. They are out of alignment. Discomfort repairs that alignment. Part 30. Why growth requires you to feel inadequate first. Growth always starts with humility. You must admit, I'm not good at this yet. I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. Comfort avoids inadequacy. Growth embraces it. Feeling inadequate is not failure. It is the starting signal. The moment you accept being bad at something, you become teachable. Comfort blocks learning. Discomfort invites it. Part 31. The paradox. Discipline feels hard, but comfort feels heavy. Discipline feels heavy in the moment. Comfort feels heavy over time. One costs effort. The other costs identity. People choose comfort because its cost is delayed. But delayed costs are often greater. Discipline builds strength. Comfort builds fragility. And fragile minds break under pressure. Part 32. How a comfort-based life shrinks your world. Comfort narrows experience. You visit fewer places, try fewer things, meet fewer versions of yourself. Your world becomes smaller, even if your screen gets bigger. Growth expands perception. It widens identity. It deepens awareness. Comfort protects the known. Growth reveals the possible. Part 33. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready. Comfort waits for certainty. Growth moves with clarity, not certainty. You will never feel fully ready. Confidence is not a prerequisite. It is a byproduct. Waiting to feel ready is one of comfort's favorite traps. Growth begins the moment you act, despite doubt. Part 34. The quiet power of choosing discomfort daily. Not dramatic challenges, not heroic leaps, just daily friction. Speaking when it's uncomfortable. Practicing when motivation is low. Choosing effort over ease. These small acts compound. Comfort loses authority when challenged consistently. Part 35. What life looks like after you stop choosing comfort. Life does not become easier. It becomes clearer. You trust yourself. You respect your effort. You feel grounded. Problems remain, but you grow larger than them. Discomfort no longer feels like a threat. It feels like a signal. You are alive. You are expanding. You are becoming. Final part. The choice that defines your life. Comfort will always be available. Growth must be chosen every day, not once, not someday, today. And if this message resonates with you, if you're someone who wants to grow not just in mindset but also in communication and English fluency, then stay connected with English Rise. Here we don't just practice English. We train the mind. We sharpen awareness. We build strength through understanding. If you want more content like this, spoken in clear, thoughtful English that helps you grow mentally while improving your listening and comprehension skills, consider subscribing and walking this path with us. Because growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you decide, quietly, firmly, to become more than you were yesterday. See you in the next story.